All right, guys, I've missed you. Let's do another episode of JT's. I don't even remember the name of my own podcast right now. I had to drive all the way home from upstate and shit. I got home, I laid down, I was gonna relax, I smoked a little bit, and then I said, I actually feel like recording something. And that's where the podcast was born, and that's where it will stay and thrive. So this is a terrible idea because before I put this movie on, like to get it ready, I forgot who the director was. It's fucking Rob Zombie's Halloween. Like, that's where we're at right now. So, if you want to take this journey with me, that is absolutely fine. Just know you're entering at your own risk. So, Rob Zombie's Halloween remake from 2007. Now, I'll preface all of this with the fact that Halloween, as a lot of you know, is the first horror movie I ever saw when I was very young. It's in my top three films of all time. I don't want Michael explained. Ever. Like, at all. We got a lot of that. As, like, I wish Halloween was just a standalone film. Like, if there's any Halloween camp I belong in, that's the one. Do I love others in the franchise? Yes. Not many. Like four or five. But you get what I'm saying. Just just like John Carpenter's The Thing, when is my favorite film of all time. They don't explain where the thing came from. They'll give little hints, but you don't know anything really about this organism. And it just works so much better that way. And not knowing why Michael picks Laurie in the first film, the original film, is a lot more terrifying. It always has been, it always will be for me. So, ever since the brother sister reveal in 2, I did not like that at all. So, that's where I'm coming from in the Halloween universe. Because now we know with this remake, Rob Zombie wanted to delve into Michael's backstory a little bit, and we get to see him as a child. And eh, I mean, like, I'm not that big on this remake. As some of you know, I love his next one, H2. I think it's fucking fantastic, that movie, and people hate it. So can't wait to get that fun shit out of the way. But when I heard Rob Zombie was doing Halloween, first I thought, like, this is very strange because if anything, I would have thought like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, remake from him. Just fits him so much better, but he kind of already did that with House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. So, fine, Halloween. I remember seeing it in the theaters. I thought it was alright. I wasn't happy, like, with a lot of stuff, but, like, Scout Taylor Thompson, that's her name, right? Yeah, she's fine as Laurie. I think she actually even has a little bit more personality than Jamie Lee Curtis Laurie from the original. Like, I really like her performance in this movie. Malcolm McDowell is great as always, but I know a lot of people hate the way Loomis is portrayed in this movie, and especially the next one. I, for one, am one of those people. I do not like what they do with Loomis at all through these two movies. Like, anything. Like, they just make him like a sleaze bag, like, just trying to profit off of his book and shit. This is not fucking Sam Loomis. This is not Sam Loomis I know. Neither from Psycho or Halloween. And Halloween is what I'm talking about. Not the same Sam Loomis at all. So that right there is something that really bothers me. And I'm just thinking too, like, when the last time I saw this was. It's been a long while, actually. So I'm wondering how this is going to go. If I'm actually going to think around the same, or if it'll go up, which I doubt, or if it'll go really down. So this is definitely going to be an experience. So Rob Zombie's Halloween 2007. Let's talk about it and see how this mess holds up in my memory. Now, we can also say this. I love House of a Thousand Corpses. Absolutely adore that movie. And I love The Devil's Rejects. Lords of Salem, nah, it was not that good. Like, it was ambitious, but it just, like, hit every mark. So, not that good. I don't think I've seen it since it came out. And then we have this. The whole Myers family here, no. No, 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 no. Like, fucking, why am I going to blank on his name right now? This is crazy. William Forsythe. Oh, I was about to fucking have a heart attack. Him as the father, no. And I praise his performance all the time in The Devil's Rejects. He just does not fit in a movie called Halloween. That's supposed to be a Halloween remake. Same with Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo does not belong in Halloween in any universe I know or care to know or anything. Danny Trejo, really, like, this is where people started really bashing Zombie with using all his traditional redneck characters, and they're right, 100%. Doesn't mean I don't like anything after like H2. Pretty much. Like, there's like one movie after that that I can stomach, and it's Three from Hell. And it's such a mess. Like, it's insane how terrible that movie turned out. But he's gone way downhill. And I think that's a big reason. Like, I can see he has a hot wife. He wants to put her in all his movies. Fine. We've seen that before in cinema in the past. But he uses so many regulars that it throws the feel of the movie off. And right off the bat, so that's a big issue. Points for Forsyth, though, pointing out using the line "Michelle, my belle." Beatles, love them. Now, even with all that said about his regular actors that he has in and his redneck characters with trashy mouths, which doesn't really bother me, but the redneck thing definitely gets on your nerves. Apologies to any rednecks out there listening, which is no one. So we're good on that front. The whole thing about William Forsythe being like the abusive father and shit like that, nope, don't work for me. And I'll tell you why. For people who know Halloween, the original John Carpenter's, well enough that they can play the opening scene in their head, and they know the freeze frame when the parents get home and Michael's outside with the mask and the knife, and they go, "Oh, Michael," and that's it, and then it freeze frames for that cool shot. Picture William Forsythe's character in this movie running up to Michael in the beginning of Carpenter's Halloween. "You goddamn misfit kid, what the fuck you do now?" Come on, like, could anybody not laugh at that and say it's not true? Like, come on, like, it doesn't fit at all. Like, we did not need any of this. Like, nothing about Myers as a kid, nothing. And all of this is just terrible for it. Like, I don't like the whole first, like, 40-ish minutes of this movie. Then it takes off a little bit for me. But, it's so hard just seeing all of this because it's terrible. Then we can talk Sherry Moon real quick. I mean, she's fine. She's fine in everything. That's basically it. We all know she doesn't have really far-reaching acting range. I mean, it's Sherry Moon Zombie. She's great at being herself and showing her body off. So let's not pretend she's anything fantastic, even though I love her as Baby in the Rejects movies, the Firefly Clan. But she's fine in this, as always. And when we start seeing Loomis come in to talk to, and with the principal talking to Mrs. Myers, yeah, like, you can go on a nice little philosophical debate here on, what makes a serial killer and the environment they grow up in. And I mean, we see Michael killing animals and everything. Cool. But I don't care, because it's Halloween by Rob Zombie from 2007. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not worth getting into that discussion over, because it's just not good here. Like, none of this hits for me at all. If it works for some of you, that's great. Doesn't work for me, this whole backstory on Michael. But it's weird, because I love Part 4 and I love Part 6, Curse of Michael Myers. And that one, like, goes heavy into trying to explain what Michael is with this stupid Thorn shit. Maybe a lot of it's nostalgia, but take the producer's cut and the theatrical cut and kind of mish them together and, like, save the theatrical cut ending. Awesome cut. best cut of the Halloween 6, but that's me. Most people don't like it. I actually do like the score here in this movie. Like, and it's weird, man. I don't know if it's just because I'm a musician, but no, because many other people who aren't musicians easily hear this. But I've talked to people who are Halloween series fans who think it's the same theme song every movie. Like, it's a different score every movie. Like, yeah, there's little embellishments and like instruments are changed around and stuff, but yeah, they are different in all the movies. So there are people who can't hear that, I guess. But I love the score in this movie. It's great. One of the best things about this movie is the score, which is still not saying much because it's mostly just rearrangements of Carpenter's amazing score. Now, I like someone who's being bullied in a movie, turning the tables and beating the shit out of that bully or having them beaten the hell out of any day of the week. Does Michael go a little far here, killing this kid? A judge would say so, yes. Probably a jury as well. Me, I'm iffy. This kid's a real douchebag. But I do like the little thing that he threw in here that right before Kid Michael kills his kid, he pulls his mask down, his clown mask, before he like really like beats his fucking brains in. I like that because it kind of shows that Michael always needed to kill behind a mask. I mean, he hides behind his mask a lot, but I feel like we've never seen Michael Myers kill anybody not wearing his mask. Right? Now I'm trying to think. No, we never have. No. So no is the answer. The answer is no. But awesome seeing that kid get killed. Don't take that out of context. But that's another thing with zombies movies, especially from like this movie onwards, is that with all these despicable characters, I don't care about them. Like, I want him to kill his father. Like, I want Michael to kill his family. They are terrible human beings, except for his mom. But like, like that's not fair. Now I'm watching a movie, I'm thinking about it, and now I'm rooting for a serial killer. That's fucked up. Like, I don't. That's not nice. And about 9:03 p.m. I'll check with Meatwad real quick if with the weather. I'm pretty sure he's probably just as tired. Meatwad, you there? Yeah, I'm here, guys. What you doing? Um, I'm good, Meatwad. How you doing? I'm good. I heard you had a long drive. Yes, I did. Weather in New York, which only people who live in New York will care about. It's about like 55 degrees, and I feel like I'm gonna freeze my nuts off. And you can freeze your nuts off. Aren't you just a bowl of meat? How does this make sense? All right, Meatwad, I'll see you later. All right, I'll talk to you. All right, goodbye. As sexy as Sherry Moon is, with the whole strip tease dance to Love Hurts, I never asked for Love Hurts, that song, to be playing in a Halloween movie. Like, never. And then it keeps switching between her dance at the strip club and Michael sitting on the corner, and just, like, it almost feels like a montage. Like, it almost feels like an 80s montage. It's just not, no time is really passing by. It's just real time. But it really feels like that with Love Hurts playing in the background, and it's not good. Oh, Tubi wants me to let you guys know that if you guys care about this shithole of a planet we live on and what we do to it anymore, get the new Genesis. It's electric powered, so you can be green and save this wonderful planet. Also got an ad for PC Richards. PC Richards? I thought that shit went out of business like 20 years ago. When's the last time one of you have been to a PC Richards? That brings memories back, man. Like getting Sega Genesises and stuff. Wow, PC Richards. That took me down, definitely down nostalgia lane right there. Also, some other ad for something about cannabis, and I'm for it. You know, this is a fucking long movie too. This is an hour and 50 on Tubi. It's a lot longer than I thought. All right. I wonder, knowing Zombie and being such a cinephile and everything, I almost would bet money I say almost because I ain't betting shit because I'm broke. But I would almost bet money that Michael eating the candy corns when his father's sleeping and right before he kills Judith and his father, I guarantee that that's a nod to Psycho with Anthony Perkins, with Norman Bates. Because Anthony Perkins actually improvised that with the candy corns, and that became like a thing as his character. I almost guarantee that that's a nod to Psycho. Like I'd find it very hard to believe if Rob Zombie came out and said it's not. All right, that kid, Michael, got all that duct tape around that big ass William Forsythe in that chair before he doesn't even wake up. Get the fuck out of here, man. That is so stupid. There is no way. And yeah, we know he's a drunk and we know he's probably blacked out still. I've been blacked out. I would know. So the fact that he did all of that and duct tape him, you see how much fucking duct tape is on there? There's a lot of duct tape. Like a lot. And then we get the cool neck slit. It looks cool. But again, I don't give a fuck about this character at all. Like, Michael's family, nope. I can skip past all of this. Judith Titty 78. Judy Titty 2007. And when he starts beating the shit out of the boyfriend, it's brutal, man. Like, the effects look fine. Like, there's no issue in this movie that I can remember not liking any of the kills or the effects or anything like that. That's some brutal shit. And H2 is even more brutal, and I love it. But I love when he hits him on the head the first time. I love whenever they do this in horror movies, when someone gets smashed on the head and they hit the ground and then they start like seizuring and stuff, like kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, I know I said like I love seeing this. It's like I live for this shit. No, but like I like when they include that little detail, because that's like pretty much what would happen. Like bone fragments or something would like crush into your brain and it would cause you to like seize out and stuff before you die. So that sucks. But that's a brutal scene. I like that. But you know what? It's leagues better than the new trilogy for me. So I got no issues compared to those movies. Alright, now let's talk The Mask, obviously, in this movie. It's middle of the row. Like, it's not terrible, and it's nowhere near, like, the original, which is the best Mask. Like, I won't hear anything about it from anyone. So, if anyone has a differing opinion on that, that's fine. Love you always. But, first Mask, first movie, the best still. I feel like this one is a little too defined. Like, the features on the mask, I feel like the features are too defined, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it's not as blank of a face, like emotionless. Yeah, let's go with that. You know, there's an hour and a fucking half left of this movie. How's it only been 20-something minutes? The pacing's not good on the beginning of this movie. But then I looked down at the recording, and so it was only 18 and change in, and I said, oh, that gotta not be far into this movie because I haven't talked much. And hardy hard, JT fucking yaps, yeah, we know. Also, like to formally say hi and introduce you to the Horror After Dark podcast in the sack with JT. Remembered the name, didn't want to forget it again. Thought I'd come back and formally title it here and bring you into the episode. So, yeah. I guess that is one of the few things, though, that I do like about Zombie's take on Myers as a kid, is that at least he's brutal from the get-go. Like, all these kills in the beginning when he kills his family and the kid from earlier, really brutal. And I like seeing that he started off that way. And he's always been that way, because we've always been told that Myers is just pure evil. And with the blackest eyes, emotionless, all of that. So I like to know that it's always been like that for him. Like, it's just been like brutality and just utter force and it carries on the rest of his life, even in his fucking 60s. And alright, I'm not going to keep harping on the new trilogy, but fuck that trilogy. So we got amazing actor yet discount Sam Loomis talking to Michael and saying, "Do you remember anything from that night?" He should have said, "Yeah, I killed my abusive dickhead stepdad, and I killed my whore of a sister." That would have been so much funnier than anything after that, because there's nothing funny. But that would have been good for me. I would have liked that right now. And all right, I know earlier I said Danny Trejo doesn't belong in Halloween. But man, it's Danny Trejo. I mean, he belongs anywhere, right? He belongs in all of our hearts. And that actually leads to another thing I like about this movie. Again, leading back to what I was saying about him always being that brutal and everything since he was a kid. Then as he gets older in Smith Grove and stuff, I like how they show those quick little scenes with Danny Trejo and him. And Danny being nice to him. His character name? Fuck if I know. But Trejo. He's always Danny Trejo. He never plays anyone else but himself. So I love those little scenes between him and Michael, and saying like, look past the walls and stuff, like, and in your head they can't get you there, and all that stuff is, I like hearing that and seeing that. Just seeing somebody really try to be as nice to Michael as possible, and then he still brutally murders him when he breaks out. Like, that again just reinforces how evil Michael is. Like, no matter what, doesn't matter that he could be the nicest fucking person. That guy could have been down on his knees blowing Michael every night in that sanitarium. He could have had everything, and he still would kill him as the second that he gets a chance. And I really like that. Awesome stuff. And honestly though, even though I'm saying I do like some of these things, with the runtime on this and the pacing at the beginning, they could have started this movie just like the original. None of the stuff with the bullies early on and the abusive parents and the abusive father, stepfather, whatever. Any of that. They could have just started right on Halloween night, have Michael kill them all, and then shoot right to Smith Grove. Then I don't mind seeing as much of like the scenes between Loomis and Michael when he's a kid. There's like it's I can deal with it, like, for sure. And it would cut out like 20-25 minutes of this movie's runtime, and it would make it so much better for me. Like, if it just started just like the original, like right at that night, right before the murders, we get an awesome opening with the kills, and then right to Smith Grove. I wish that was what it was, because it's really hard getting through the beginning of this movie. Little Caesar's Pizza, plugged in by Tubi, plugged into you by me. While I'm waiting for the rest of these ads, I don't know why I always do this. I put off a movie in a franchise I love because I hear terrible things about it, and then I end up watching it, and it sucks so bad. And it was the Slumber Party Massacre remake from 2 years ago. Alright, I'm gonna have a short review on this like tomorrow or the next day, but this is all you need to know right here. That movie was so bad, but I had so much fun watching it because it has to be a parody. Otherwise, it's atrocious in every way. But if you look at it, it's just a complete out there, off the walls parody, like it definitely feels at times. Hysterical watch. Like, that's what I gotta say right now about it. But terrible in every fucking way though. Back to Halloween 2007. And I believe we have a caller here. Wait, no, we don't. We don't have a phone number either, so never mind. I also have to say, regarding not the mask, but masks, I like that they show him making his own masks and everything while he's in Smith's Grove. I like how the orange mask looks. Like, I really like that orange mask. I have one of those. I think, yeah, it had to be from this movie. A collectible Michael Myers statue, whatever, that had that mask and the regular Myers mask. I like that one. Looks pretty cool. Glad he gets rid of it real quick. Like it definitely did not outstay its welcome. It looks cool, looks pretty scary, and then I'm just glad they got the regular Myers mask on his face. But then we get this stupid shit. Sorry, guys. Uh, what the hell was I saying? Yeah, we get this dumb, stupid scene with Myers as a kid still murdering the nurse. This kid is a psychopath. Loomis is talking to him all the time. It's his patient. Look how brutal the killings were from that night with his family. They leave a nurse by herself in a room with this psychotic motherfucker? Are you serious? That is so egregiously stupid on every level. So dumb, this should not exist. This whole scene, take it the fuck out. So stupid, that would never happen. I don't care what decade it is. Are you serious? If you were that nurse, tell me, females or male nurse, who doesn't fucking matter who, anyone who's a nurse who might be listening right now who's not likely to have one, but if you are, would you stay in a room with that kid alone, like with nothing to defend yourself? Even like, really? If you would, you're braver than I am. But yes, my point wasn't made. That whole scene gone. Then we get this sentimental scene with Mike's mom. It sounds so weird when you call Michael Myers Mike, because then it sounds like you're talking about Mike Myers, and now Austin Powers is in my head. That's not a place I wanted to go tonight. Thanks, fucking everybody. But when Michael's mom is watching like the home movies and stuff, and she's getting all sentimental, cool for this remake. But like any other case, it's just pretty much like part of her like acting real and stuff that she plans, if she ever plans on divorcing Rob Zombie's ass. She could have some more like dramatic shit in her roles. Like, that's all it reads for me. Like, I get nothing out of it. Like, I could see what he was trying with this scene, but didn't work for me. But again, I love all those masks that he makes. Like in his cell, he's got a ton of masks, man. But he's got a lot of time too. I mean, 15 years, a long ass time. And I love seeing. I always forget this actor's name. The guy who plays Adam in The Devil's Rejects with the younger girlfriend, not the guy who always shakes Johnny Cash's hand. Whatever his name is, he's here. He's cool to see his face. And here too, like right before he escapes, when Danny Trejo again is like, man, just keep your hands off all his things. Like, I really like that. Like, I don't know if I ever liked it as much as now. I mean, I've only seen this movie like 3 times before this, maybe. That's probably too much as it is, seeing this, because it's not worth it. Like, so far, like on this rewatch, it's like very confusing. I like some things, and then I do not like some things, and it's going all over the place. Now, here's a question. We just got this question called in, couldn't broadcast it. But, okay. Just talking in this movie's universe, in the Rob Zombie Halloween universe, this and the next movie. Do you ever think that Michael ever cared at all for Dr. Loomis? Now, I don't mean cared because, like, psychopaths can't care about anybody. But do you think that he felt some type of connection to Loomis as well? Like, we know Loomis has. Like, he's been his patient for 15 years. He can't do it anymore because of just the blackest eyes. Like, he starts writing his book and shit. But did Michael ever look at him that way? I wonder. That's a very interesting thought that I never really had. But I wonder if Michael ever looked at Loomis that way. Like there's some sort of connection. Like this. Does he even acknowledge or know that this guy is trying to help me, or that anything's even wrong with Michael? Does he know he's fucked up? Like a lot of questions, and I like that, and it should stay that way. That's why I don't like all the beginning shit with the kid. Bill Moseley, always great to see. Love him. Bill Moseley can be in any fucking Rob Zombie movie he wants. He can be in any horror film he wants. He can be in anything he wants. Like, who doesn't love Bill Moseley? And yeah, you see when they're moving him, all the chains and shit all over Michael, chained up, walking. That's how they should have had him in that room with the nurse 15 years earlier when he killed that bitch to death. Like, that's all on them. Like, there's nothing that they could say that wipes their hands of anything. Like, that's all on them, that woman had to die. And then we have the female guard. I've seen her in something. And we have the guy who plays Sheriff Whitehall from House of a Thousand Corpses. What's his name's? From Devil's Rejects, his brother, the dead one. William Forsythe's brother. And Bill Moseley and some black guy I've never seen before. Which isn't surprising, because in a Rob Zombie movie, if it's not Ken Foree, you ain't seeing one. For Smith Grove, housing such maniacs, like just like Michael, they really are understaffed. I mean, this is a night that they're transferring like a psychotic, crazy person who's already killed people in the facility in the past. And they're taking him, the 4 people from before who he just murdered, and it's just Danny Trejo. He's the only other person working there. I mean, I know there's a nurse or something that Michael kills. Besides that, though, you don't think they say, like, yo, we need a lot more people tonight? Like, we're going to have a big-ass transfer? Like, just in case something terrible goes wrong, we're going to need some extra hands. Nope. It's just Danny Trejo and some nurse. Nurse is dead. We know what happens to Trejo. Sad, really. Again, all on Smith Grove, though. Can't blame Michael. All still on the hospital. Like, this place is going to be paying out lawsuits for a long-ass time. But I love... This is the first scene in this movie I love. When Danny Trejo walks into Michael, and he sees that he killed everybody else. And he starts saying, like, "Hey, Mikey, all right, let's not start doing things, we're going to regret later. And, like, let me just get you back to your room." And it's, like, really, it's just nice to him, as he always has been. And then just seeing the fear on him when he's going to try to handcuff Michael, like, he knows, despite how good he's been to him, that this guy is still a psychopath. This guy is a fucking killer. And I love how it's shot. I love the performance by Trejo. Ed Main just looking fucking terrifying there with that orange mask. It looks really, really cool. Like, that whole scene. And then when he murders him, drowns him. Sad. But it really just hammers home how evil Michael is. And then, I mean, you'd think even, but again, I mean, it's a fucking murderer. It's a serial killer. You would think, with how nice Trejo has been to him, that he could, like, let him off easy, stab him quick in the jugular, like, something. He fucking starts drowning him and everything, and then throws him on the ground, and then takes the TV off, and then pulls a scream and throws the TV and crashes on his face. Damn, man, like, you saved the most brutal kill for the nicest motherfucker to you in this whole place for your whole life. That is cold, cold shit. Now, just keeping in mind pacing issues that I've been talking about, Michael just is breaking out of the asylum, and there's an hour left in this film. Too long. Like, way too long. Like, I don't remember it being like this long, like, and having such pacing issues. But damn, man. Like, this, I can't believe there's an hour left of this. And as I just mentioned, Mr. Ken Foree, welcome on screen, Mr. Ken Foree. The only brother you see in a zombie film. But love him, so I can't give him much shit. He gets another brutal kill when Michael just starts slamming him against the stall wall and stuff, and just repeatedly over and over again. Brutal kill. I've again nothing but awesome kills in this movie that I can remember going forward to. Oh, and when Ken Foree is walking into the bathroom, they are playing Tom Sawyer by Rush, so points there. Rest in peace, Joe Grizzly. Rest in peace. Well, Jesse, you should probably tell her more character that it. What are you talking about? They know if they've seen the movie, it's a spoiler discussion. They've seen it before. You never know. You just want to be polite, is all I'm saying. Where did you even come from again? Shoo. We're in the middle of a movie. Alright, bye, peace. Oh, that guy can't stay away from me. I do like the Mr. Sandman as it goes to Halloween of that night, of that year, after he breaks out of Smith Grove. I would have rather would hear the original song, which is so much better than the cover we get here, but it's cool to hear it. I'd rather. I would. That reminds me of like a rad badger. Rad badger. Okay, fuck you guys. Moving on. Tommy, when he's walking down the street with Lori, and he's talking about the something Wolfman. I want to see that movie. Like, that sounds a lot cooler. Okay, so back to the score. I like the score, as I said, but I don't like the way it's implemented sometimes. If that makes sense. Like when Michael gets home, and now I'm looking at the mask a little more, I don't like this mask. Never mind. It's not middle of the road, it's a little below average. I don't care for all the rips and tears in it and shit. But when he gets to his home, I mean, house would have worked. Whatever. So when he gets home, and he's going through the floorboards, and he's taking out, the Myers mask and his butcher knife. It starts playing like the iconic Carpenter theme music to Halloween, the main theme. But it doesn't feel right there. You know what I mean? Like, if that makes any sense at all to anybody. Like, it doesn't feel like the right moment to kick in the theme music. Like, that's what makes Carpenter's original so fucking amazing, too. And the score in it, being the greatest score in a horror movie ever, for me, is that every piece of music, every composition in the score is used at just the most perfect times ever. Like, just whenever Michael starts chasing, and yes, they do this and follow this one pretty well in all the Halloween movies with but like Laurie's theme and like the Myers house theme, the main theme, those all belong in like very specific places, like in the original. And it's weird seeing a scene like this, and in a decent amount of other movies too in the series. But it's just not the same. Like, it's not utilized anywhere near as well, the score. Like, despite how much I like how it sounds, I don't know. It's something I'm noticing on this rewatch. And the lovely, lovely Danielle Harris as Annie in this. I love her performance in everything, pretty much. Not everything, but like the Hachette movies, I don't 100% care for her performance in those, and probably a few other things if I think about it, but whatever, I'm not thinking about it now. This has nothing to do with the movie. So Danielle Harris playing Annie, I think that's awesome, just to have Harris back after, she's been in 4 and 5, and for her to be able to come back for the remake and be able to play Annie from the original, that's awesome. And it's just always great to see Danielle Harris. When the 3 girls are walking home and they see Myers across the street, and I forget who says it, but one of them says, the guy across the street is looking at us, and they're like, what guy? What guy? Are you fucking kidding me? Do you see how big this guy is? And he's in plain view of them. It's like, unless they were just looking down at the ground, and then wondered what guy, because there seemed to be no guy on the ground in front of them. and they had to look up and look around. But besides that, Jesus, the observational awareness is not good here. She says bacon mobiles make her nauseous. Oh man, it sucks seeing Sid Haig and then thinking about when he passed. That was such a loss for the whole horror world, man. I miss Sid Haig. That's another big reason why Three from Hell does not work for me. And for that, I'll talk about that and whenever I do that. He has the short little scene in the cemetery when they find that Judith's grave has been dug up. And he's like the guy who works at the graveyard. Grave tender? Whatever. He works in a fucking graveyard. So, cool seeing him. Like, that really sucks. But then, like, again, everything to do with the book. With Loomis. Everything to do with that. He published a book, and that the whole debate that whether he was, profiting off of blood money and all of that shit. I hate that. Like, Sam Loomis is my favorite character in a fucking movie, tied with Norman Bates. I think I said this in my Psycho video. Who, I don't know, but Norman Bates and Dr. Loomis from Halloween are my favorite, like, characters in movies. Like, nothing beats that. So just everything, it's hard to, I guess, look at any other Loomis besides Donald Pleasance. I mean, how could it's not an easy thing at all. I'm sure most people can understand that. But I just don't like what they do with him. Especially, that's like one of the negatives I have for H2, for sure. And the White Horse stuff. But we get the cool little Linda Bob sex scene. That's cool. At least that got a decent remake. Like, it actually looks like they're having sex, unlike in the original. Nice little Don't Fear the Reaper thrown in. Which all these things would carry a lot more weight if they never made this new trilogy for me. Like, it remade it again, basically. Or a sequel to the original, whatever the hell 2018 is. I don't even care. But, like, when these were the only remakes of Halloween, at least they, like, those little homages and stuff carried a little bit more weight. But now we've seen all this shit again in the new trilogy. So now it just doesn't feel that special anymore because they fucking copied it. So, like, the whole Mr. Sandman stuff and the homages with the Blue Oyster Cult and all of those little homages to the series, especially like the original and 2, it just doesn't have the same weight. It just feels like, well, this trope has been killed and let's not ever have it again. And as much as I love the original Halloween, there's no fucking way he pins Bob to the wall with just that butcher knife. And that whole kill scene with Bob just now and Blue Oyster Cult now just reminded me of a much better movie I'd rather be watching and watching X with that whole awesome scene with Blue Oyster Cult. Now, I said this in my original Halloween video, that I wonder why Michael puts the ghost, like, the sheet on his head with the glasses. Like, why? Like, I don't get the reasoning for that. Like, why doesn't he just kill her? Like, he kills everybody else. Like, why put on, like, hey, I'm pretending to be Bob, but I'm not really Bob, and then I'm going to reveal myself and choke you out. Never understood that in the original. Don't understand it here. Just doesn't seem like something Michael would do, but I guess he has a little bit of sense of humor. See, this is another small scene that, while it's cool to see, it's something we didn't fucking need to know. Like, with Loomis explaining how he had a gun, and that he went to a gun shop, he bought a gun, which, first of all, I'm sure the wait period is much longer than instant. Like, he just gets his gun and leaves. There's usually, like, a background check and a mental health check, all of that, which I'm questionable on this take on Loomis's mental health in the first place. So, who knows, that would have never happened. He did not get the gun that way in the original movie. So, who cares, is my point. Like, it's cool. but it's not needed. Like, that's another 2 minutes you could scoop out of this movie, help the pacing of it. Another mistake that a zombie makes here, and that a lot of the sequels and franchise makes, is that there's no stalking by Michael. Like, that's what he does. Like in the original Halloween, he is a voyeur. He stalks. He takes some type of joy, even if you don't think of it as an emotion, but just something he gets from it, from stalking, from lurking. You don't see any of that. The one scene that I said, when, oh, you see that guy? And what guy? The guy right in fucking front of you. That scene. Besides that, there's nothing with Michael stalking in this movie. Same with the whole trilogy recently. Same with a lot of the movies. So that's why I say, if you think you don't like Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween 6, watch the producer's cut if you haven't, because it has, it's almost like a completely different movie, and it explains a lot of things that aren't explained in the theatrical cut. So definitely check that out, because that movie has a lot of the same feeling and atmosphere as Carpenter's original, like the closest for me. And a lot of it has to do with that there is Michael stalking in that movie. So check it out if you haven't seen the producer's cut of Halloween 6. And how does the young actor and actress a young actor and actress who respectively play Tommy and Lindsay on their acting? I mean, who cares? It's a kid. I'm kidding, they do fine. And then we have the great and the legendary Brad Dourif. Amazing, as always. Love seeing him. It's weird seeing him in like a non-bad guy role. And then we get the whole thing with, Loomis talking to the sheriff. And then they introduce the whole brother-sister thing again. Nope. Like, again, not for me. He had a chance to, like, rectify that and not put that in there. Here, in near. That's what I said, was in near. I don't know what that means. You tell me. Didn't have to be in here. Tubi told me to tell you to recycle. It's good for the planet.